Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Joe Woodruff, the head football coach at Zeeland East. Joe, how are you?
Good, Casey. How are you?
I'm doing well. I know this week is different for everybody with a lot of teams, a lot of coaches I've talked to. So I know that some open the weight room, some are just letting kids enjoy the last week of their summer before the fun really begins on the 11th. But what's been going on at Zeeland East and how is the summer going?
We open up the weight room 3 days, but it's one of those we really kind of encourage the kids to do what they need to do so that they're ready to go Monday. It's a long summer, and when you live about 5 miles away from Lake Michigan, there's certainly a lot of things that'll keep them active. It's going to be great weather this week, so I really hope the kids will take a chance to relax and get out on the beach and kind of be ready to go on Monday.
How was the summer for your team this year? How was summer workouts? And I know the MHSA gives you all these practices that you can use during the summer. I know weather was kind of, it's been kind of iffy the last couple of during the summer with all the rain. But how was summer workouts for you guys?
It was really good. We got into our new weight room, obviously. It's our second year of being in there. So, really active weight room stuff. Had great attendance. And, that's been going up every year that I've been here. Very active 7-on-7 season. Our camps were good. So, got a lot done. Got a lot done over the summer. So that's good. But certainly we're ready to kind of get things, get this thing started up, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's go over some of the some of the players, some of the returners that you're going to have this year, and discuss some of the names to watch for you guys.
Yeah. Well, last year, I think when we talked and you asked me kind of like who was going to start, I probably would have answered, I don't know. I think last year we were coming in a situation where the previous year we'd graduated maybe 17 or 18 of our 22 starters. So that was kind of interesting. Last year we ended up, I think we started maybe 6 sophomores and a freshman on the varsity on top of a whole slew of juniors. So really, we only graduated really about 4 starting positions roughly last year. So, boy, we got a lot of kids back. So we're excited about that. That's going to, that could always be a blessing and a curse depending on how the kids take it. If the kids, use that experience and can kind of pick up where they left off last year, that's certainly a blessing. But if they get complacent and think that, everything's going to be easy on them because they started last year and were able to kind of hold their own in a very tough schedule last year, that's going to be the curse part of it. So that's kind of been our focus this year is making sure that the kids know that, like I said, just because they were on the field last year doesn't necessarily guarantee it's up to them to, continue to move forward. But as far as starters coming back for us, on the offensive side of the ball, everything kind of starts with our junior quarterback coming back, Will Drenick, who started last year as a sophomore for us, was all conference. Was a fantastic football player. Just couldn't say enough good things about him as an athlete and as a young man. He's coming back. It'll be his, like I said, second year. He's lettered for us as a freshman. At wide receiver coming back for us will be Colby Miller, who was, again, a sophomore starter for us. Isaiah Boonstrow was another wide receiver that was a sophomore starting for us. He'll be back. And then Colter Rotman was another slot back that was a starter for us before kind of having a off-field injury that kind of curtailed the second part of his season. So those are our receiving core that's coming back. Bennett Bing is an H-back tight end that's coming back for us, will be a senior that was a starter for us last year. On the offensive line, Max Gomez was a freshman who started both ways for us he was a freshman last year, so he's a sophomore this year. He'll be coming back on both sides of the ball. Christian Pompey is coming back at center for us. He'll be a senior. Isaiah Jones is coming back for us as a guard. He will be a senior. Mason Roddy is coming back as a tackle for us. He will be a junior. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody on the offensive side. I know Jack Campice saw a lot of carries for us as a running back last year, and he'll be coming back as a senior as well. So that's our offense coming back.
What about defensively? Where are you guys at there?
Well, defensively, we've got a lot of those kids back as well. That's one of the, like I said, that's kind of one of the advantages of what happens when you have to play a lot of young kids. I already mentioned Christian and Max coming back on the defensive line, and Mason Roddy all played on the defensive line, and Isaiah Jones. So those four played a fair amount on the offensive line. Zeke Ramadani was another defensive lineman that never came off the field for us. He was a sophomore last year. He's going to be a dominant football player as a defensive lineman. Probably the heart and soul of our defense is going to be our linebacking core that returns a whole mess of kids. Peyton Davis will return as an outside linebacker. He'll be a senior. Derek Baxter will return as an inside linebacker. He'll be a senior. Ben DeLost is another senior that returns at outside linebacker. We will have Braden Smith will be coming back as kind of an outside linebacker safety. He'll be a senior. As far as the secondary, that is returners for us. Cameron Jaworski was a safety for us that was second on our team in tackles. He'll be a senior that's coming back. Judah Kalmbacher is a corner that will be coming back for us as a senior. I'm looking down my projected depth chart kind of stuff to see if I got anybody else. And gosh, I think I just gave you a whole slew of kids there. So that's probably a pretty good start for where we're going to be.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I know we've talked about the kids. Let's talk about the upcoming schedule. Of course, you got Grand Rapids Union to kick off the season on the 28th of August. September 5th at Flushing will be week 2. Week 3, September 13th, home against Alpena. Week 4, September 19th at Unity Christian. Week 5, September 26th, home against Zeeland West. Week 6 will be October 3rd at Wyoming. Week 7, October 10th, home against South Christian. Week 8 will be the 17th, home against Forest Hill Central, and finishing out the regular season on the 24th of October at Hamilton. So pretty good schedule now with with the division, with all the changes that the OK Conference saw last year. With different divisions for football and basketball. How's the gold shaping out for the 2025 season?
Well, I think our season from a non-conference standpoint is kind of unique in that we get to go play Union, which is it's right up the street for us. So that's kind of Coach Andrews is doing a good job trying to build a football program up. They've kind of had their struggles the last couple of years, and he's trying to build it from kind of the ground up and building a solid foundation. After that, we've got Flushing that had a really nice 7-2 season last year. They kind of snuck up and got us on an 80-yard Hail Mary in the last minute of the game last year. That was just one of those strange plays. It was a good learning experience for our kids. So we'll be excited to drive over there. Then obviously Alpena will be coming down to us week 3. And then after that, we get the conference schedule, which, from that, I mean, it's kind of a gauntlet from that point. When you look at Unity Christian, which won the conference last year, Zeeland West that won a state championship last year, South Christian, which, if I'm not mistaken, finished 5th in our conference last year, and they beat Unity in the playoffs, which tells you the depth of our playoffs. Yeah. Forest Hill Central had won the state championship the year before that. They got knocked out by Zeeland West in the playoffs, who we got knocked out by. And then, Wyoming is obviously taking steps to try to rebuild their football program as well. So, yeah, when you look at our conference, there is some crazy. Somebody ran the numbers last year at one point about what our conference's record was non-conference, and I mean it was impressive. So, yeah, I mean it's last year we were a 5-4 football team, and we were really really good even with our youth. We played Zeeland West really really tough, and and they went on to win a state championship. That's just one of those. That's just one of the hassles of the league, and it's hassles with, the playoffs and with the districting and all that. And, then the end of it, like I said, we have Hamilton, I think, which finished with one of their better years last year as well. So we got our work cut out for us this year.
Absolutely. So, heading into the next 2 weeks, when practice starts on the 11th, what are the next 2 weeks going to be like before we head into that game against Union?
Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things as a coaching staff. We're busy kind of meeting and talking through a bunch of stuff where, this week we try to find a way to kind of prepare a lot of things. One of the, we have a lot of issues when you coach really 3 levels of teams. Our varsity team, we have to kind of talk through the complacency thing that we talked through before, make sure that we're moving forward on that, we have to, from a defensive standpoint, prepare for really 4 or 5 very, very unique, different teams schematically in the first 4 or 5 weeks. So that's going to require a lot of focus. We're going to have to build a lot of depth, and that's going to be our big issue. When I talk about having, 18 starters back, that's great. But we certainly have a lot of room to work when it comes to, developing depth because, last year we had to take 6 or so kids off the JV team, which really depletes the kind of the JV team and what they have to offer. So we're going to have a lot of development going down at our younger grades. So that's really going to be our focus is how do we develop those kids and get those kids ready to contribute not only on Thursdays but Fridays. We'll do your typical 2 days of helmets and 2 days of helmet and shoulder pads, and then we'll, on the next Friday we'll be able to have a full contact at practice, whatever that really even means anymore in high school football. You really don't really with the lack of numbers and of this. It's not like, I mean, I don't want to seem like one of those old people, but one of those old coaches. But boy, it sounds like when I played, we were having like 3 or 4 weeks of like full contact at practice or so before our first, game. And now it's like we have, I think, I was counting it out. We have like 4 or 5 practices before our first game that we can actually hit in, and we're limited to how much we can hit for all good reasons. I mean, we don't really want to get kids hurt at practice and whatnot, but so yeah, it's going to get really, really busy before our scrimmage, 2 weeks from now, and then we'll get ready for Union, and then everything just, seems like in Michigan, the football season just flies by.
Sure does. I mean, we're already at this point, and next week we said
Yeah,
we do this thing again, and it feels like we just did this.
sure does, sure does.
Absolutely. All right. All right, Joe. Thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Appreciate it, Casey. Have a great year, man.